War. War never changes.
A relic of pre-war America, designed to be the ultimate weapon against the Chinese invaders. Liberty Prime, the Brotherhood of Steel's colossal war machine, is a symbol of American resilience and technological prowess. What secrets lie beneath its metal shell? What did the Brotherhood do with such an incredibly powerful weapon at their disposal? Did they use it to liberate the wasteland, or enslave it? Welcome back to the channel, Wanderers. Today we crack open the Vault-Tec archive and take a deep dive into the origins of Liberty Prime, as well as his revival, the battles he took place in, and the major spark that ignited the war between the superpowers of the wasteland, the Enclave and the Brotherhood of Steel. Infuriated by the occupation of Anchorage, Alaska by the Chinese during the Sino-American War, American armed forces would recruit the expertise of both Robco Industries and General Atomics International onto a collaborative project on an unprecedented scale. This top-secret project would be known originally as Military Contract 38917, with the goal of creating the most powerful, combat-ready robot, the likes of which the world had never seen before. Initial planning and pre-production began on the Titan codenamed Liberty Prime in 2072. It was openly stated by the United States top brass that he was to be the very embodiment of American military might, the crown jewel of American research and technological achievement. As the project progressed to a significant degree, General Chase would ultimately come out and confirm to the public in June 2072 that the U.S. Army was collaborating with both massive companies of Robco as well as General Atomics to create a super weapon to reestablish American dominance on the Alaskan front. The United States would take the development of Liberty Prime a step further by garnering public support. This was done by producing propaganda stating the existence of a Chinese super robot dubbed War Machine, thus necessitating the need for America to have its own super weapon. The project was not without its share of difficulties, however. The research and production teams were able to complete Prime's chassis, voice module, and weapon systems all within the projected dates. What they were unable to complete was a power source that was compact enough to power all of his systems for mobile deployment. Project lead Stanley Bloomfield would ultimately be unable to ascertain a solution to this critical issue plaguing the machine's construction. And unfortunately, the requests for Vault-Tec's assistance were fruitless. This was primarily due to the fact that the one person in America who could help overcome this enormous technological hurdle was a scientist named Stanislaus Braun, who at this time had entered seclusion inside Vault 112. This would lead to a massive problem in the following form. Prime could strategically move around the terrain, but only do so with his weapons offline, which is pointless for a project designed to be America's greatest superweapon. The project's delays were both unfortunate and unacceptable. They would force the USSA to move on without the aid of their superweapon. The Alaskan campaign would go ahead, leading to a declarative victory for the United States. However, this did not come without a heavy loss of life on both sides, and significant loss of materiel. Meanwhile, Liberty Prime would lie in wait in his construction bay under the Pentagon until his power management problems could be resolved. Decades later, nuclear weapons had carpeted Earth's surface, erasing life and leaving in its wake entirely new creatures born of radiation and other toxic fumes polluting the air. Around 2255, a new heavily armed faction, clad in power armor, complete an expedition to the ruins of the country's capital. Led by Elder Owen Lyons, the Brotherhood of Steel would occupy a very damaged but still intact Pentagon. The expedition team would search the building for any forms of pre-war technology. They would find an intact Liberty Prime. To call this a substantial find is a drastic understatement. This would be the catalyst for the Brotherhood's next course of action, fortifying the Pentagon and using it as their main base of operation inside Capital Wasteland. Henceforth, this fortress would be known as the Citadel, and the Brotherhood would focus on assigning the scribes with the same task as the pre-war scientists had been working on, solving Liberty Prime's power management conundrum. The primary problem was Prime's immense energy consumption. as it has no feasible way of powering the behemoth robot, even with their top minds on the project. For more than 2 decades, the Brotherhood would continue to struggle making Prime combat ready. Every step forward in this development would lead to 2 steps back in the form of unseen complications. By early May of 2277, the scribes, working diligently, had at the very least managed to restore 46% power to the internal systems, 45% to the weapon systems, and had attempted to redistribute 37% power management systems. This would ultimately lead to yet another failure, coming in the least expected direction. Prime himself. Rothchild, the head scribe, and his team would attempt to bypass the aggressive combat subroutines by trying to fool the mech with a neural dampener, having Prime believe that the power was being redistributed from a source other than his weapons. However, onboard AI routines would detect this deceit and would not allow power to be diverted from the weapon systems. This attempt would result in several of the robot's circuitries to become fried, setting the project back 3 months. July 13th, 2277. The Brotherhood of Steel would again attempt to jumpstart Prime. This time, a faulty power capacitor caused a monumental power spike and degraded system performance, dropping the internal processors, weapons, and power management to a mere 12, 13, and 1% respectively. This frustrated Rothchild beyond words. He was tired of struggling rerouting power. This would lead to him making the unilateral decision to end the power management experiments. From this point forward, the research team would resume work on the Prime's accelerated vector fusion model to simply meet power demands. Madison Lee, who was renowned for her groundbreaking work in the prototype Rivet City, was brought onto the project by Rothchild, who was hoping that Lee would be capable of another significant breakthrough on the Prime project. Unfortunately, the next attempt to revive Prime would cause injury to several members of the research team. During the first major experiment on August 1st, 2277, the AVF device would result in Scribe Botwitch suffering second-degree burns. Meanwhile, an accidental weapon systems discharge would almost end the life of Elder Lyons. This would force Lyons to impose strict control on the experimentations team. The accidents and setbacks aside, Rothschild's team was eventually successful in restoring the majority of the combat mech's power, as well as improving internal distribution rates, bringing the power and internal processors to a staggering 87%, weapons to 60%. However, the lackluster efforts in power management, still operating only at 3% efficiency, would make field deployment an impossibility. Most critically, the mobility and navigation remained at 0%. Only the voice module would consistently work at 100%, constantly spewing anti-communist propaganda when the machine was powered on. Real quick, if you guys are enjoying the episode, be sure to like and sub. It really helps the channel. Also, if you want to support the channel financially, we have a Patreon that will link down in the comments. We have really neat perks like early access to all our content, members-only episodes once a month, and even a custom Fallout world on Fallout 76 where you can play alongside us here at the channel. So if you're interested in anything like that, be sure to check it out. Elsewhere in the Capital Wasteland, in Vault 87, the Lone Wanderer had successfully retrieved a GEC device. After leaving, he was ambushed by a group of 2 Enclave soldiers and Colonel Autumn. It was previously believed that Autumn was dead at the scene. With the GEC device confiscated, the Lone Wanderer was put on board a vertibird and flown to the Enclave's headquarters at Raven Rock. Here, after refusing to give the code to the water purifier that was currently responsible for purifying all of the region's water, as well as with an audience President John Henry Eden, the Lone Wanderer is handed a vial of modified FEV virus. The President would then order the Lone Wanderer to activate the virus and inject it into the purifier systems directly. The aftermath of these effects are murky at best and relatively unknown. However, what is known for sure is that the Lone Wanderer escaped Raven Rock after a schism between the ranks of the Enclave, some choosing to be loyal to Autumn and wanting the Wanderer dead, and those still loyal to Eden. The Lone Wanderer would travel to the Citadel and inform the Brotherhood of the potential crisis. At this time, Liberty Prime systems had finally been completed. It was brought online for the first time in centuries and was immediately deployed against the Enclave, occupying the Lincoln Memorial. The war for capital waste had begun. Thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to sub for more Fallout content, as well as Episode 2, Liberty Prime, and the Project Purity battle. This is really the first major battle between the Enclave and the Brotherhood of Steel. This is where things really heat up and it really gets interesting. I can't wait to get that up for you guys. Hope to see you guys there, and I will catch you guys in the next one.